Well, for the most part, like any business owner, there's going to be the expense question that comes up. And a lot of what is going to be associated with trying to determine a different form is not only going to depend on the expense that's involved, but also the nature of the transaction, how many partners may be involved, and in addition, how suitable the arrangement is for your needs. Okay, so one of the first questions that's going to come up is not only the expense, but whether or not you're adequately protected. I mean, that's one of the reasons why people actually create corporate entities. So in the first instance, a sole proprietorship, although it may arise by operation of law without you necessarily having to do many filings or otherwise, is something that's going to not necessarily protect you against limited liability or like a corporation or a limited liability company will. Although there are more formalities that can be associated with the actual filing and registration of a limited liability company, one of the biggest reasons why people actually choose a limited liability, or I chose my own limited liability company over a sole proprietorship or corporation, is that I actually got the protection of the veil. In our world, limited liability companies are in the first instance not subject to necessarily having creditors and debtors and lawsuit plaintiffs, etc., kind of reach up through that corporate entity, that corporate veil, to actually go after the personal assets of the owner of the LLC. And so that was something that made me very comfortable. Again, although there were some formalities associated with a limited liability company, my biggest concern in going forward with a corporation would have been that their books and records requirements that are required by law that are a little bit more onerous than those associated with an LLC. So for someone just starting out a business, a single owner like myself, the LLC actually provided the best corporate form because of there are also tax benefits associated with it, in addition to the fact that I had the protection of limited liability, and it was relatively straightforward to set up.